The DA said himself. He said, all across the nation it's like that. So let's look at all across the nation. Everywhere across the country, see, the problem is not what happens when an officer shoots. And see, this is such a narrow and limited scope. It really works to their advantage. Because first of all, we're only talking about shootings. We're not talking about the larger issue of complaints and wrongdoing and all that gets into this. Because the same cops, in many cases, that have conducted police brutality, then later on turn out to be a shooter. Right? And then we want to look at 10 years when we just came off of a 20-year regime of an administration that was stonewalling all of this. So I don't think it's even fair to just say we're only going to look at the past 10 years. The DA has been in office for 12 years. If we look all across the country, we see that the problem is that the findings are never returned with anything but no wrongdoing. The findings are almost always, like 85, 90% of the time, right, found in favor of the officers, okay? This is DAs across the country. And once again, don't listen to me. I don't know nothing. I'm a knucklehead from Roxbury, okay? All right, read the paper. In the Herald, it just came out. 55 cases throughout Massachusetts, not one indictment. Another piece came out, said that there was 71 killings throughout Massachusetts in the past decade. Nothing there. Right here in Boston, and I'm going to address the issue he said, and once again, this is where information gets convenient. We only use the past 10 years, and you're talking about the cases that you prosecuted, because the death of his brother, Mark McMullen, was by the Boston police, and he was not armed. And maybe you didn't prosecute it because the cop followed him all the way out to Rockland, which is out of your district, and against department policy. Woo. And guess what happened in that case? Woo. No wrongdoing. Woo. So we ain't all crazy. We ain't all crazy. All right? And yes, and awarded later, which is another common phenomenon that happens throughout the country, where oftentimes these officers who are caught up in these cases of controversy are actually awarded later on in some sort of ceremony, because it's the little wink, the little nod, the little pat on the back. Hey, Billy, we're with you. This is the epitome of the good old boys network. And the only thing that we can do in Boston is change the policy. And this is where it ain't going to happen at the city level. This has to happen at a legislative level. And what we're looking at right now, everybody here who has internet, go check out this Wisconsin law. First of its kind law in the nation. Happened because a young man got killed after a traffic stop. And his father was not having it. Why? Guess why? The kid was white. The father was white. This ain't supposed to happen to me. So he was ticked off. And he took it to the highest levels, and now there's a law in Wisconsin that removes the DA and removes the local police from investigating and punishing themselves. That is just smart, okay? That's just smart. And the DA, in his presentation, made a lot of statements about how they do such a good job of staying in contact and communicating with the family. And this is why I invited to stay in contact with these people. Because it's hard to lie with the people that you just said you've been in communication with, and they stand here and tell you that there has been limited and lackluster communication on the investigation, the prosecution, the after the fact, and everything. And I get mad. Because a lot of time when I come in contact with these people, I know I can't even help them. I can't even help them. I get them linked up to the best lawyer I can, but I already know the fix is in. Because the fix is in Boston, the fix is in Lynn, the fix is in Springfield, it's in New York, it's in LA, it's in Detroit, it's everywhere. This is a nationwide problem, and we ain't gonna get no justice ever until we remove them from the ability of investigating, prosecuting, disciplining themselves. And we need to not just look at this little broad and narrow thing of what happens only with officer-involved shootings. We need to look at the whole entire process of disciplining an officer. The complaint process, the IA process, the whole thing. From the rooter to the tutor. We ain't never going to get no justice at no city level. We got to take this to legislation, and currently we're working on doing that. And also as well, I know Evandro got it. Evandro Carvalho, Representative Jeffrey Brown has it. This is real stuff. We're working on this stuff. All right? And on the city level, too, we're working on a true civilian review board and restoring the co-op and all these type of little measures that just give us another little measure of accountability, another little check and balance. It still may not bring no justice. In fact, I'm not really confident and hopeful that it will. But we got to do this. We got to do this. And lastly, we are writing a letter to send off to the Department of Justice, asking them to come in and investigate, and not only investigate, but also help reform and reshape the policy of the BPD. This has been done in Baltimore. This has been done in other cities across the nation. And we need the DOJ to come in here because I am not confident as a citizen, a taxpayer, a Roxbury resident, that the BPD, the local DAs, and not just him, Suffolk, Middlesex, Essex, Norfolk, I'm not confident in none of them. Okay? And we need, and right, and guess what? And the facts is on our side. So when they try to tell us we crazy, let's look at the facts. The facts bear it out. And two, last thing, a lot of talk about the grand jury. Guess what? On the grand jury, you only hear one side. And they want to talk about all this integrity with the grand jury process, and everybody in this room knows the slogan, right? You can indict a what? A ham sandwich. Ha!
Before you speak, I just want to let everybody know that it's after 9 p.m. We do have several people who still want to speak. I invite you to stay for as long as you can. If you have to leave, if you can just do it quietly so we can allow folks to speak. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Darryl Williams. I'm a lifelong resident of Boston. And you know, as I stood here and I listened to some of the people and some of the things that they've gone through, I had to wonder if what I have to say is really important. To the superintendent that had the PowerPoint presentation, sir, I mean no disrespect, but everything you presented means absolutely nothing to us.
That's right.
You guys, I mean respectfully, gentlemen, you guys came up here and showed absolutely no compassion. You had a department-approved PowerPoint presentation that you went slide by slide on. There was no presentation. I'm glad that you spent a lot of your career in Roxbury, but I would have thought that with that, you would have a little more compassion for these people. To the DA was the officers that killed William Murray, one of the 17 that you prosecuted. Moreover, on the Boston Police website, there's a study that you guys had done, and it's in between 2007 and 2010, that even though people that are the same color as me, only make up 25% of the population, 63% of the people that have police involvement were black. So the question I have with that, and along with the other ones that I kind of threw out there, is what do you guys really expect to do to change that? The mayor didn't even bother to show up. Neither did the police commissioner. No disrespect to you, Chief. We thank God for you. But in the entire history of Boston Police, there's only been 3 black police captains. 3! In the entire history. Where do we go? We're the oldest in the nation. 1856, isn't it? What does that say? Everybody's talking about Boston is strong, but I ain't heard nobody say Christmas Addicts was Boston strong. So, I mean, again, gentlemen, you've had a lot of people come at you. I can understand maybe why the mayor's not here and some of the people ain't, because they don't want this type of backlash. So you guys are the sacrificial lambs that have to deal with this. Be that as it may, you've earned your check tonight. Nevertheless, how are you going to... I mean, how can you really say, honestly, that you're going to do something and you have the ability to do something to change a system that's clearly, obviously? Amen.
Amen. Amen.
That's,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Thank you. There's been more than 3 captains, but there's 3 active captains now, which is a sign of progress. I said before, positive dialogue equals positive change, right? All I can say to the black community, I'm a student of history.